Illsamar right there with Gotham as the first track that we're showcasing from the Foreign EP, which just dropped yesterday. And we're talking live with her in Los Angeles as well. Welcome back, Illsamar. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yo, so that was Gotham's. Like you said, it's like kind of a fun track, but I mean, you got some hard bars in there. I mean, you've got like, what's the bit that you say something about being like in the? I didn't quite catch it. Something about a heroin shooter or something.
Oh, basically, I just said drifting on high. I'm getting stuck. Basically, I was just kind of saying, like, I was like, if you see me, it seems like I'm drifting on high, like if I was a heroin shooter. But I don't even smoke Buddha. I'm actually drifting on high with the Lion of Judah.
I see. So that's what I mean. It's quite deep bars, you then.
Yeah, even though it's pretty, like, I call it a fun track, but I still try to keep a meaning in every single track. I'm not saying that, like, making music that doesn't really have a meaning to it is not cool, because I listen to a lot of stuff that don't really have any deep meanings to it, but I personally like to have some type of, like, meaning on every single song, even if it sounds like a fun song that you could just vibe to. Yeah,
that sounds cool. So tell us how you put together the EP then. How did you decide from the get-go to make it happen? Like, was there something that clicked in your mind to think that you're going to put it together? And also, I guess, why is it called Foreign? That's probably the main kind of question, I guess.
Originally, it was supposed to be like an album, and then it was going to be called something different. And as I got into the studio with people that helped me put it together, which is Soul and Satellite Rock, we kind of sat there and we were just like starting to record and like, okay, cool, like these are basically the songs that I wanted to do. And she one of the producers, she's like, okay, you know, like, I really want you to do the spoken word that you have and maybe add it as an interlude, which is called Foreign. I did an interlude, like I did like a spoken word like 6 months ago, and I put it out on Instagram. She's like, it's a really powerful spoken word. I was like, okay, cool, we can add it. From there, I think the whole Foreign was birthed. And that's why I have like a Foreign 1 and then Foreign 2 within the EP. And basically, it's just a small 8-track EP that's talking about just like current events, but also past events. And then also talking about stories of people that I know that are battling with depression, schizophrenia, and anxiety, and suicide attempts, and a bunch of different things. For example, the song Black Hole basically is talking about all those things and how it troubles a lot of people who are dealing with these things, and how they feel foreign within society, and they don't feel like they're a part of the community at all. And I kind of just wanted to be able to showcase that within it. And it really did come from like a deep part of my heart, just being super vulnerable and really trying to have people understand how these people feel and kind of get them to walk in their shoes, at least for one day, so people could be more sensitive about it and want to reach out to the people who are hurting.
And does any part of that title Foreign come from your own life as well?
Oh, definitely. I've battled with depression, and I've had thoughts of committing suicide in the past, and that's how I felt. You know, I felt foreign within like my community, not being able to talk to anybody because I just felt like I was going to be shamed, or I just felt like it was something that I probably, figure out myself, and I didn't think it was a normal thing. And also just because of I live in the United States, and I'm an immigrant. I'm originally from Mexico. So it was just kind of like a double thing, You're foreign spiritually and in your soul, but you're also foreign physically because, you are in a place where that's not really your country, but you live here. So it had a lot of different meanings to it. And I felt like it was a pretty good, like, statement EP. Like, okay, this is who I am and this is where I'm at. Basically welcome into my story.
Yeah, so that's pretty deep then. Obviously, it's got its personal touch upon your own life as well. Like, were you actually born in America, or did you travel into it afterwards?
I was not born in America, so I was born in Mexico, and I migrated here with my parents brought me here like at 2 years old, and I have all my documents now So I don't really know much of my Mexican culture the way that my older sisters do. Like, I was raised here in the U.S., so like the culture that I have is what it is here, you know. So it's actually kind of difficult because you grow in between two different cultures and you kind of don't know which one is yours, you know. So it was actually pretty interesting to grow up the way I did, because at home you're still living like this Mexican culture, but then you go to school and, you know, you're a part of the American culture. So it was pretty interesting life about living within the midst of two cultures.
Yeah, I was just thinking that must be pretty cool because, well, from my point of view, pretty cool. But I guess from your point of view, especially growing up, like especially through teenage years, I mean, is your family like, do they kind of hold on to the traditions of where they come from? Is that something they're strong about?
Oh yes, definitely. My father, actually, because I'm the youngest out of like 11 siblings, and my father and my mother are actually of an old age. My dad is in his 70s, his late 70s. My mom is in her late 60s, already reaching her 70s. So they're and where they come from is a very rural part in Mexico, where it's not a city, so they're very disconnected from just current events and things like that, things of that nature. So they have a lot of traditions of this is how things are supposed to go. You know, yeah, you're 16 and your friends may be going out to the mall, but you're not allowed to do that because you can't, you know, you have to be home, you know. So it was very weird. It was very different. And it was interesting to say because, you know, you're 16 and you're growing up in America and you see your friends doing certain things, but you're not allowed to do that because your parents were not raised that way, and they have not different ethics, but just different ways of living that they weren't able to understand how kids in America do things. And it was hard. And that kind of like sparked my little rebellion when I was younger, that, you know, led to this whole other chain of events that kind of like happened in my life and that eventually, you know, got me to where I am now. But at the same time, I'm super appreciated to live in the midst of two cultures and understand how, you know, my parents' side and understand the American way and two different ways of being raised. It taught me to be very open-minded and to appreciate the many different cultures that there are in the world, you know, because there is so many different cultures, so many different ways of living. And I'm okay with that, you know. I'm okay to be open to all that.
Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds really amazing. I mean, that's really shaped you then for who you are today, because living within those kind of the boundaries of must have been quite very hard actually. Now I think about it more, because like you say, like at home you got your parents saying one thing, and then you probably go to school and, you know, the peer pressure of being a child and you're having your childhood friends kind of, you know what I mean, like putting on, you know, oh, we do this and you're not allowed to do that, and you know what I mean. That's obviously that must have been quite hard to go through, I would imagine. Yeah,
it was a little difficult, but I got through it.
Foreign is definitely something then that should be able to reach a lot of people, because, well, from how you've described it is, you know, like at any one time anybody could feel kind of foreign to the society or culture they're in due to, you know, their own personal circumstance, whether that's, you know, immigration or addiction or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's many people, it's very relatable in many ways, and I think I've left it very open-ended to where you could basically insert your circumstance, just like you said, and you could take that with you, like, okay, cool, I can relate to this because maybe I'm not going through the same thing she's going through, but I'm going through this and the situation is similar and I'm still going through the same motions. And so, yeah, I feel like the goal is to be reached to many people, and I hope that many people get blessed by it the way that I was blessed by it while I was writing it, and still am now as I listen to it.